Hey everybody, this is Tom Box, and welcome to the damage report for June 5th for the TCG. And of course, as usual, I'm going to break down everything from top tier stuff, meta related stuff, I don't know, stuff. We're going to talk about some stuff. I'm sure you all know the drill. We've got winners, we've got losers, we've got overall meta change, combos that they have lost, pieces that have to take out of their deck, how significant it is, and we're going to look at tier list potential. If you guys want to skip to that, go ahead, but you should understand how to kind of readjust your deck with different types of hand traps, with different types of board breaker, because there are significant changes thanks to this ban list. Anyways, let's start off with the context. Just a quick refresher, this is the list here. My eyes aren't going to glitch this time, no more filter. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at my screen here, camera here, I won't screw up the recording. So in terms of the list ban cards, Cyberstein, we have Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow, Diablosis the Mind Hacker, A Point to the Red Lotus, and Branded Expulsion, all being banned a bit really early for the Super Heavy Samurai hits, but no more one-card combos. As for the limited cards, we have Blaster, Mathematic Circular, Gamma, Denlong, Arise Heart, Delicious Memory. Yes, I screwed up Delicious Memory. I thought it was Sleepy Memory. I was incorrect on that one, but this is a way bigger hit than I thought. And then there's Naturia Sacred Tree, which was probably my contribution. Gotta say, no one thought that was gonna be right. Oh, hit the runic cards. Nope, hit your Sacred Tree. And here we are. As for the cards, semi-limited, we have Herald of Orange Light. We have Cashier Unicorn, which is also a bit of a slap, but is a consistency hit. Lightning Storm to 2, which is a buff for Labyrinth. Runic Fountain to 2, they only really needed 2 anyway, so that was a funny hit. Engage back to 2, and we have Sprite Starter going down to 2. Matching Master Duel, and as for cards going to 3, we have Steam the Cloak, aka Black Wings. Yay! I guess we have the Gen X ally Birdman. I think there's a lot of potential. That card's not once per turn, so there's something going on there. I wonder how we're going to kind of mash that into. Maybe shove that into Cashier just so that we can kind of bounce back some more useful cards. Samsara Lotus, I don't know if we're going to play that. Quick Fix, that's cool. Master Plan still banned. And we have Recital Starling and Draco Face Off. Maybe we're going to see some more ways to abuse that card and use it more or less like an E-Telly. So that's kind of the rundown of the entire list. And now on to sports for the winners and losers. I'm just kidding. We're looking at the winners and losers, just an overview of the ban list. We have Gold Pride Punk. They took no hits whatsoever, maybe Gammas, but that's insignificant because they'll still gotta play triple E-Tally because they play the Punk engine, and that wasn't touched. Then the Sprite deck, they only lost one starter. I mean, they took a punch in the face in the last ban list. This one, not so much. They're probably gonna still see them around, but I'm guessing if they're gonna take out some Gammas and the E-Tallys, that's probably 3 to 5 cards that's coming out of the deck. Moving on to Sky Striker, it's a W after W. They got the Engage back to 2. They've got triple multi-roll, but are they going to be able to keep up? They still have Floodgates. Maybe that's going to be their way of playing. Ryan, you let me know. And Branded SP, they only really lost one card, which is Branded Expulsion. I don't think that's going to matter too much, honestly, because this deck is still basically at full power, but you still lose to Ash. Sorry, guys. Losers, Pirelli, biggest loser by far, I think. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Super Heavy Samurai lost the 1-card combo. Cashier lost 2 copies of Arise Heart. They can't look at your extra deck. Everyone's free from Diablosis. And Gamma going down to 1, big L there, but it's probably justified because people just go into Excel Stardust and go into Baron. And when they go into Baron, Gamma essentially just turns into like Effect Negate plus an Omni Negate. Pretty solid stuff for the Gamma, and therefore it's probably justified. It made it so that people were too scared to activate the initial hand traps. You might be getting away with a lot of plays, and maybe that was just making it too strong. Damage report number 1. It's very significant, but ultimately Cashier is still completely functional. Sure, they're losing 2 copies of Arise Heart, Diablosis Mind Hacker, and the Unicorn, but the deck itself still does what it does best. It forces you to play into a banish game. They still get to rip cards out of your extra deck if you do try to fight against the Unicorn, or they get into battle phase. So in terms of like deck repairs, they're still taking about 3 extra deck cards out. You could put in more targets for the Prosperity. If you didn't play the Skull Knight, you can put the Skull Knight in, you can put the Draco Sack in, and maybe you can just put some text to adapt overall. And maybe you can put that Baron back into the deck. But basically, you still have to fill 3 slots, so you guys can kind of figure that part out. As for the main deck card they have to take out is 1 copy of Unicorn. Sure, it's a consistency hit, but you can put in back that copy of Cashier Preparation, which most people already took out. So it's not even too bad to put the Preparation back in so that you can revive your Arise Heart since you're down to 1. And there's alternatively a different card that you can use to revive the Arise Heart, which is Magnet Reverse. It's also a quick play spell, so I might consider trying that out just to see if it's worth it, because a lot of people might run like 1-for-1 answers for the Rise Heart and just don't account for a second Rise Heart coming back. So Magnet Reverse might be like a pretty decent option, so shout outs to Tyler. But in terms of combo gains and losses, in terms of overall format impact, 3 to 5 zone lock is gone, which means spells and traps are really good against this deck, evenly matched, even more so. Like limiting someone down to like just one Rise Heart and then answering their Rise Heart could just kill the entire game for them. So they were already kind of fragile as like a tier 1 deck. That was like kind of a known fact, but now they lost the ability to force their opponent to play in a tunnel and just kind of forcing them down a bad path, so that's gone. So we might see more of the Cashier players go into like more negation based stuff, like so that's why we're gonna see like Baron plays. Maybe we'll see like Adventure Cashier make a little bit of a return. I don't know for sure, but we're gonna see how the format develops. As for my final remarks on this, well, the deck is still functional. It does lose a lot of its impact on just deck building and just the format in general. You can probably see them play super aggro. I mean, I played the deck today and it was very, very good, even though I didn't go into Diablosis and I only summoned out one Rise Heart. So that just goes to show that this deck is still very good, even without some of these these advantages that we have right now. Damage report number 2, Super Heavy Samurai. The deck is not dead. I take it back, okay? I said they were dead. It was a bad reaction to, I guess, Prank Kids losing their 1-card combo, and they actually died. This one, not so much. 1-card combo now becomes 2-card combo, so you're okay. And you still end on the same type of board. Yeah, bunch of negates, maybe 5, 6 if you're lucky. It's still really nasty, and you can maybe even merge it with other decks now, just so that you have the open space. So losing 2 Scarecrow, maybe an Exterio, maybe you played Cyberstein. I played the Exterio personally because I enjoy cheesing my opponent when I go first play. I like having the infinite negate against every single card that you might dig for. Oh, you want to play Pot of Desires to dig for more outs? Yeah, that's not happening. Every single spell card you play is going to get negated, and that's the way that I like to play. And then I line myself up to win the game 3, game 2. Probably not gonna win it if I don't have the right things, especially if I don't see what your opponent is playing. In terms of deck repair, you could shove in the Ancient Gear Ballistas, the Gearbox. Sure, these are the brickier cards and they're not very, very good, especially if you open with them, but it's better than nothing. But I also play the Fenrir, play the Cashier package in there. It will definitely help out. Or you can even try the Goatee version. Combo losses and gains, 1-card opener, that's gone. I think there's been a crackdown on 1-card combos that lead to like a +7, +8, and this is definitely one of those decks that kind of goes in that direction. Unpopular FTK, that's gone. Konami's never really happy about seeing FTKs anyway. It's kind of a given that they're going to get rid of it, especially ones that are made popular and scares away the less knowledgeable players. And no more game 1 Exterior. I think also like one of the key things we're losing is the Xyz line, like going into Springen to Giant Sargus, that to the Regulus. That particular line also gets a little bit weaker. And when it comes to like comboing, instead of having the Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow at the front with the Peacemaker, now you're gonna have Soul Gaia Booster as the one attached to it. But that particular sequencing is more susceptible to Nibiru if you don't open with the extender already in hand. If you have to search it out of your hand and then try to get scales out, there's a point in the combo where you have Excel Stardust plus the bike, but you need the bike to summon out the additional monster so you can equip the Soul Piercer, a Soul Peacemaker to it. And so that particular point does become summon number 5. And that could actually get you hit by Nibiru, which would skip your turn. Well, you can still Pendulum Summon, but your Pendulum Summon right now is like way worse. So ultimately, the deck does become a lot weaker, and it's still very strong if you get to the end board. So I wouldn't count this deck out. And if people think that they're going to take out Joe and Lockbird, just so that it's like, oh, Joe and Lockbird, you don't need it, Super Heavy Samurai is dead, they're going to be in for a pretty rude awakening on that, and they're going to kind of cycle them back into the format once they realize that, hey, a lot of the decks still require Joel. Before we continue to report number 3, can you guys take a moment to check out MSTmerch.com? We have restocked the Ulti Instinct sleeve. This is the one that you guys have been asking for a very long time. I was like, oh, when you gotta restock it, Tom? Here it is. We have restocked it. Get it while you still can. People are buying it in like ridiculous quantities, so get it while it's still available. But if this isn't the energy you vibe with, then don't worry, we have launched our new one, the Ulti Ego. This is the dark sleeve, and this is the dark counterpart. So if you kind of vibe with the darker energy, you know, you're all skill based, you know, there's all business, no game, then this is what you guys want. And don't forget to check out our tournament series of the white V2s in our carbon series, as well as our exclusive black. You guys have loved it a lot, and you know, I really enjoyed the feedback that you guys get. So you know, get those while you still can. Sold out like multiple times, so I'm really glad that we can keep it in stock for you guys for your tournament needs. And as for anything else, we have mats, oversleeves, box dividers, all of your TCG accessory needs available at MSTmerch.com. Get them while you can. Appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, and let's get into report number 3. Damage report number 3, we're looking into Pirelli or Pearlies, and yeah, I think Konami sent this one to the biggest loser because they don't really have that many delicious memories anymore. They have got one, and that makes it a lot less consistent. I thought about this. I thought it was like Sleepy Memory, the draw card. It's not the draw card. It's the one that basically, I think it protects your card. But the key thing is, it's the one that lets you go into plump. And without your ability to go into plump, you're not gonna be able to attach multiple cards and set up a Towers-esque Noir anytime soon. It's like a significant hit from something that was like a guaranteed play to no longer a guaranteed play. It feels really weird when you have to kind of sack into your own combo or key piece. And is there anything to fix it? Not really. I mean, you can try to play cards like Foolish Burial Goods to kind of load it into the graveyard and use like Prairie Lily to summon it into the plump, but you're also playing Foolish Burial Goods, so you are committing more cards into making this play. And my friend Pirelli used to be the one card that can definitely dig this card out, but now you're 67% less likely to get into the card. And not only that, like your Xyz monster, you can't really get 2 of these attached onto it anymore. When you get 2 of these attached onto one of your Pirellis, they get so strong to the point that like running it over by battle isn't even an option. But now it does seem like it can be an option, because without plump, you can't attach 2 additional cards, and that just makes the deck kind of a whole lot weaker. I spoke to some of my friends who do play this deck, and they're like, no, that was rough. That was like a super rough hit. And you know what? There's no more delicious memory. You just get a sad memory of every single time you fail to actually get the card into your hand. But I'm sorry, guys. This deck isn't my forte, so I guess you guys gonna have to rely on beauty and happiness to kind of control the board and maybe work your way back up. I'm not sure if you're a fan of that. Or you can try to merge this deck with a little bit more of Sprites, because Sprites are already level 2, and Sprites is a deck that didn't really get hit, so that might be another angle for you guys to kind of tackle Pirelli. I usually don't do this. I don't put like a meta tech spec here, but just kind of run over all the other decks that probably could be addressed. Mathmech, they lost Circular, huge consistency hit. Sprite lost basically Gamma and Starter, which is also E-Telly. So Sprites actually took a significant hit here, and definitely like, lost a lot of consistency, because like, are they gonna play like E-Tellys for the 1 Gamma? I don't really think they're gonna do that. Then there's also Naturia, a Sacred Tree going down to 1. That means they can't go tree into tree, and that also means that Runic Naturia is going to have a much rougher time going into Hugin ditching the tree to get their combo started. That's also less likely to happen. And Branded, they lost Expulsion, which is like very, very minor slap on the wrist. They don't rely on that card. That was like one of the key cheese cards with Gimmick Puppet. So ultimately, the extra deck building freedom is back. 5-zone lock is dead, so spells and traps are really good. Arise Heart at 1, so you only really need to answer 1. Less likely to get Gimmick Puppet locked. You can still get Gimmick Puppet locked, but it's less likely. It's weird commitment. You can get Jowgen locked though, funny enough, and you're also less likely to eat a Towers-esque Noir. So let's look at the tier list potential now. Okay, on to the part that you guys love the most, the tier list potential. Now we have top tier, high tier, and hidden potential. Now just because they're on hidden potential doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they have less expectations to perform, whereas the top tier potential, they have a lot of expectation to perform, but sometimes they just fail to deliver. But you know, high tier potential, don't write them off, because I believe, you know, under the right circumstances they will shine. But we're gonna see how this goes. But you know, for top tier potential, Branded Despia, the deck isn't hit. I mean, sure, they lost Expulsion, they lost a cheesy way to, you know, shut out, you know, skip over your opponent's turn, but the deck is still very strong. If you know how to play that deck, it's still really good. Yes, it still sucks against Ash Blossom, but it's still a very functional deck compared to all the other ones, especially when the bar of top tier definitely lowered to the level of almost Gold Pride punks, so that's why that's also there. Sprites, they lost a lot of cards, but they're also like the one deck that sure got a slap on the wrist. They don't have Elf, but they still have Sprint. I'm not going to write this deck off, and there's many variations that you can definitely try and play. Gold Pride Punks, it's because everything kind of lowered to its level, and it was already not that bad to begin with, especially against Cashier. That's why this one is really high up, and especially with 3 E-Telly still fully functional within the deck. It's a punk deck, and it's probably gonna find its way to, you know, make a huge impact. Sword Soul with Ringo Worm has been kind of on my radar for a little bit now. It's a very, very, very strong deck, and I think it has a lot more potential moving forward, considering that, yeah, maybe it struggled a little bit while Cashier was around, but now they can definitely kill that Cashier. Dark World, because of Arise Heart's drop, Dark World's still up here. Otherwise, I would have dropped it down to like maybe Hidden Potential, because Arise Heart was dictating the format. Not so much now. And as for a deck that's not technically out yet, we have like the Chaos, like Synchron deck. I think there's a lot going on there, but that's coming out after Battles Legend, but I have high hopes for that deck. High tier potential. Super Heavy Samurai did not drop all the way down to Hidden Potential, or not even on this list, because they can still fully combo, and if people don't respect that that deck is still around, they're going to get clobbered. Like, just don't write it off. Mathmech with Cybers, we're probably gonna see some Firewall with Defensor style decks. I think the deck is still fully functional. Drytrons, I think I'm gonna leave them in high tier potential just because they got like another copy of Herald of Orange Light available for them to search with Ben 10. It's kind of going back to the classics at some point. Sure, way back at the beginning, we didn't even play Eva, but now that we probably don't need Eva, and a lot of people are just going to like the Dark Magician Chaos Max, skip your monster effect turn. It gets pretty rough for some people. Runic, they got a slap on the wrist, or whatever variant of new Runic that's going to stick around that's not Naturia. I'm going to leave it up here. Labyrinth also kind of got a little bit of a mini buff, considering that the Lightning Storm got semi-limited. So, you know, that's not a huge amount of Lightning Storms that you're probably not going to have to eat. Sky Striker, I want to see how you guys do. I think it's going to be the Floodgates that are going to do the most amount of damage to people. We'll see. And again, if you guys don't know, because you haven't been keeping up with Sky Striker, Linkage can force an OTK out of you, so you can get killed without even the need of access code talk or things like that. Vanadium, another deck that I think probably is going to see more play because the I guess the meta ceiling went down. Next, onto Hidden Potential, Naturia Runic. Maybe having one Sacred Chi was okay. I don't know, but I think that's a significant hit. More than enough to actually kind of shut people down. Thunderies, Hidden Potential. I mean, it's the one Tribute Summon deck. Exorcister, also moved down. Constellar Knights, good potential there. And here's the one that I didn't really think I was going to talk about, but Tearlaments. I think Tearlaments actually might kind of make a little bit of a splash. I mean, at 250th YCS, we did have one Tearlaments top, and that was under full power Cash. So with Cash not being at full power, would Tearlaments also make a little bit of a comeback? Like, I do think there's a potential there, because a lot of it was kind of correlated based off of how well Cashier was doing, how dominant that deck was, and I guess it's going to be a lot less dominant, and you only really need to deal with one Arise Heart. But maybe that one Arise Heart is still more than enough. Then we have Marine Cess. Never write that deck off. That deck is just so much summoning. Like, I always disrupt them at the wrong point. I really need to study up on that deck. And Plunder Patrol, it is a very good deck, but you definitely need the setup, and you definitely don't want your opponent to kind of read and understand how your deck functions, because once you do, you know the choke points. It's a lot harder to kind of get that boat to set sail. And that is all I got for this damage report. Is there a deck that I'm missing? If I'm missing something, you can leave it down in the comments section. Hopefully you guys kind of got a bit of an understanding of, you know, how this format is going to move forward. It's actually a good thing. I feel like a lot of, you know, shackles have been kind of unlocked, and you're able to build the deck the way that you want to build it, but you have to still not, you know, underestimate how, you know, Unicorn can probably still rip your cards out of your deck. There's probably Dinosaurs that might see a bit of play as well if they go into Lithosagem. If they go Lithosagem, they can still rip cards out of your extra deck, maybe 3 cards, and that could completely cripple your lines. We don't know exactly, but I am definitely looking forward to seeing how the format develops. That's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, I'm going to look into Super Heavy Samurai. Might get a couple of live games for you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Ding that notification bell if you guys want to see some stuff like that. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Best of